On Old Kent Road stands a building, shining amidst the hustle of London life. Our community has outgrown this building. The vibrant and diverse population surrounding us is expanding. The youth eager to learn, to grow, and to connect. We are embarking on a new journey. A journey that will take us from this century-old structure to a new 6-story, purpose-built mosque. A center that will serve not only as a house of worship, but as a hub of learning. Our new home will be a place where the youth will find guidance, where diversity is embraced, and where Islam can be shared with those around us. Brothers and sisters, to make this vision a reality, we need you.
And it's going to be in 4 phases. So we'll be moving to the second phase now to envelope it, then the third phase, and then the fourth phase, to complete, the structure. The structure is here on the picture here, you'll be able to see it. We are really, really looking forward to be able to get this completed and then start using it, inshallah ta'ala.
Your contribution is more than bricks and concrete. It is the spark that will keep our faith alive in the hearts of our youth and our community. Let's build a mosque that will serve us today, tomorrow, donate today, and be a part of this incredible legacy.
اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما إنا عرضنا الأمانة على السماوات والأرض والجبال فأبين أن يحملنها وأشفقن منها وحملها الإنسان إنه كان ظلوما جهولا ليعذب الله المنافقين والمنافقات والمشركين والمشركات ويتوب الله على المؤمنين والمؤمنات وكان الله غفورا رحيما.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله Rabbil Alameen. I welcome you onto another episode of Who You Who Believ. Today is the 275th episode. Alhamdulillah. May Allah continue to make it easy for us. And this is just to say that please, as you're joining, make sure you invite at least one person with you. Share this link, call your family, friends, children, brothers, sisters, whoever that All You Who Believ have started. And today, like always, we have a very interesting topic that we will be talking about. And also, we have our able scholar in the house, and we have a very special in-house person today that's going to address an important issue that is very germane to our community. And like I said, it is the 275th episode. My name is Rashida Hassan, and I am your anchor for today. Inshallah, as we always do, we give announcements just before we start the business of today. And we want to give a very special thank you to our sister organizations, the NEMAB, NEMAB and NEMAC, for what they have done for us in the recent fundraising that was organized on behalf of the Old Kent Road Mosque rebuild. We thank you very much. We're still getting the donations, and there's been a very huge turnaround in terms of people paying up. And we're very pleased to inform you that work shall soon resume at our permanent site, inshallah. We hope to return to the mosque as soon as possible. May Allah make it easy. And Allah help us through, your donations. When we start, we don't want to stop. So please keep sharing the words, keep inviting people. Think how you can also support to make sure that this dream is achieved as soon as possible. We're still collecting donation towards Ramadan, inshallah. It's fast approaching, and may Allah make it easy for all of us. So if you do want to donate towards our Ramadan projects and programs, please do contact the Ramadan committee members or the imams for details. Our Corridor Asana interest-free loan campaign is still on. Please invest in our mosque rebuild project. We can't, say this too much. We can't overemphasize why it is important for everyone to be on board. Your money will get refunded if you join the Corridor Asana campaign and on schedule as at when you need it. For more details, please contact the President, Honorable Abdul Jalil Oladejo, Professor Moshood Baderi, or Imam Tajuddin Salami. So for any information regarding the Corridor Asana. And as always, we keep saying we need volunteers. Please If you have any way you can volunteer to help with the mosque bucket collection, please contact Alhaji Abdurrahman Amode, who has been doing this, very well for us for the past few years. Please do call Alhaji Abdurrahman if you want to get involved in the mosque bucket collection. Our Juma Asalatu session is still holding at the Sachel and Longfield Estates, Oscott Way, London. So it's very close to the OKR Tesco, and Juma starts at 12:20 p.m. So when you're coming, please do invite your friends and family. It's also a good way to keep in touch with the community. Also, please join Man UK today. We can. It is a community. It is a space for all of us to meet and to have that safe space. So please join the Man UK today. The elders group is for 50 years plus. So anybody above 50, the elders group is there to welcome you and make you continue to be part of the community. And join the CAF Sisters. That is a very important group every Fridays for the recitation of Surah Al-Kahf and other selected prayers with like-minded people and our mothers. Also, we have the Man Sisters for our younger mothers. So Allow Latif Brothers is for the middle-aged men, and Man Youth, our youth. We can't, they are the core of our society. So it's also open to young brothers and sisters. There is something for everyone at the Muslim Association of Nigeria, UK. So pick your tickets today. Pick your form, sorry. Pick your form today. Contact the membership committee. I think it is being led by the Secretary General of the Man UK, so that you can be part of this great community. Inshallah, the E-Class community e-magazine that is produced by Man UK for the general Muslim community would be out very soon. Another edition is being worked on, and you should have that, on your table as soon as possible. And also, finally, enroll your kids at the Man UK Markers, education it is, and especially Islamic education, Quranic education is very important. So do enroll your children with the Markers and contact Dr. Musa Abdurrahim, the head of Markers, or Alaja Muinot Kuka, who is the education officer, for more information on how to do that. And talking about the markers, as we always do, I would like to invite one of our marker students who is going to recite the Quran for us today. Is that Rogiyat Diakate? Can you please accept being promoted to panelist so that you can recite the Quran, inshallah? Assalamu alaikum.
وعليكم السلام.
Yeah, go on, please.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها المزمل قم الليل إلا قليلا نصفه أو انقص منه قليلا أو زد عليه ورتل القرآن ترتيلا إن سنلقي عليك قولا ثقيلا إن ناشئة الليل هي أشد وطئا وأقوم قيلا إن لك في النهار سبحا طويلا واذكر اسم ربك وتبتل إليه تبتيلا رب المشرق والمغرب لا إله إلا هو فاتخذه وكيلا واصبر على ما يقولون واهجرهم هجرا جميلا صدق الله العظيم.
Thank you very much for that short yet very beautiful recitation from the Holy Quran. May Allah bless you, bless your teacher, bless your parents for reciting that very beautiful verses from the Quran. Thank you very much. And with that recitation, I would like to now hand over the program for today, to our moderator for today. Inshallah, Prof is not around, but he is ably represented by our Sheikh, our Imam, our father, Imam Munir Ajikunle, who is going to be taking us through the next over an hour, I hope, because I know when we start, we don't want to stop. So inshallah, I'll hand over to Imam Ajikunle to take us through the session. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهدي الله فهو المهتدي وما يضلل فلا هادي له ونصلي ونسلم على أشرف المرسلين سيد الأنبياء إمام المرسلين وخاتم النبيين ابن سبيهين وعلى آله وأصحابه كلهم أجمعين. We thank Almighty Allah for yet another interesting episode of You Believe, coming from the tables of Muslim Nigeria, Muslim Association of Nigeria, Man UK. As we were told, I think this is about the 127 or 175th, 275 Allah Akbar episodes, which means we have been one single family for the past 275 weeks, whatever that works out to in terms of years, and months. My name is Muniruddin Moyosara Aremajikali, as introduced, and I'll be the anchor for tonight, the moderator for tonight, standing in for our father, mentor, teacher, and Imam, Professor Masoud Adebayo Badiri. Inshallah, today is such an interesting night with considering the caliber and the pedigree of our resource person tonight, in the person of no other than Dr. Dawood Adesola Amzad. Before I go further, I'd like to just appreciate Umar Ramadan, Alaja Rashida Ablegani, Olawale Hassan for starting us off. Especially, I'm most especially grateful to that wonderful and beautiful rendition of the Holy Quran, by our sister. I ask that Allah would continue to grant you useful knowledge and make this a shining light that leads to paradise. And may Allah reward you abundantly and your parents as well. I welcome every single person on the platform today. Please remember to join us on our various platforms, and be ready to ask questions. For additional rewards, please do also a favor by asking others to join. I'd like to introduce first and foremost, my Imam, my teacher, and it's just an in-house person. And on this other personal level, it's my in-law from Ogumosha. It's just added a new cap to his cap of honors, and that's by just it's new book that's just it's the Amazon market and is available for everyone who is academically minded. And the book comes in 2 volumes: a study in comparative law, civil law, Islamic law, community law, a historical trajectory, principles and methodologies, volumes 1 and 2. We congratulate you on this new accomplishment, and we ask that Almighty Allah would continue to preserve your life for us, so you can continue the good work that you are doing. Just in the same way that I recognize and I thank the OMM Muslim Association of Nigeria for, the trust and confidence, reposed in me to stand in for Professor Badiani, who is unavoidably absent tonight. Without wasting further time, you know what the ground rules are here, as spelled out by Umar Ramadan. We are going to be having the guest speaker, is going to be here for the next, going to be speaking. Once I finish, I give the Quran, the floor to him for the next 25 minutes or so. And I know after that we would be dealing with loads of questions that will be requiring answers. And I'm sure we have a capable hand to do that in Dr. Dawood Adesola Amzad. Inshallah, it gives me great honor and privilege to invite onto the podium our erudite scholar, author, father, and friend, particularly, a prominent member of Muslim Association of Nigeria, Dr. Dawood Adesola Hamza. فليتفضل مشكورا يا شيخ أنس.
Thank you very much.
We need your face as well.
Yes, I'm trying to do that. I hope the technology will not disagree with me.
We pray fervently for that.
With that, inshallah.
Let's how far we can push it. If you show your face, but if we along the line we start having issues, then maybe you can take it off. We want to see our latest author in town.
Okay. I'm trying to put on the camera. I don't know.
And the volume is not great around here. I don't know if it's the same. Umar Ramadan, can you confirm the volume is all right? Is it audible enough?
No, it's not. His volume is very low.
Yeah.
Is it audible now?
No, it's not the best.
Oh,
And while he's trying to adjust his device there, I was carried away introducing him. Essentially, my excitement is about the new book is just released. The topic is going to be treating for the next 25 minutes, inshallah, is scholarly disagreements and its impacts on Muslim unity. And I hope we need a Nigeria audience here because it's been the experience lately in Nigeria where instead of facing why we have been specially selected as imams and ulama, we tend to be with digressing and diverting, investing and dissipating our efforts on things that are not germane and do not have any direct relevance to the purpose of our creation, and especially to the special assignment that Allah has given to them, as our imams. Please, Dr. Dawood, let's hear you out again. Maybe it will be better this time.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum.
Oh yeah, we will be struggling tonight, Doctor. We
I'll
will
take it from him.
Sorry?
Sir, if you can move closer to your device, it looks like you are very distant from your device. Dr. Dawood?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah,
but we cannot hear you.
We can hardly hear you, sir.
We can't hear you properly.
We are struggling. We are struggling, sir. Do you want to shut down and see whether there will be an improvement?
When you come in again, yeah.
Yeah. Look at Baba is sounding like he's in the BBC studio.
Maybe you can log out and then relog in.
Log out and relog in.
Try to move closer to your device because it sounds like you are really distant from it.
And check your volume buttons there as well. I think your how to put button, if there's anything like that on your device. My volume is 100, and I'm just struggling.
Okay, let me increase the volume.
Doctor, shut down completely.
Okay.
Shut down completely. And when you are joining back, be sure that all the buttons relating to volume is well adjusted to give you maximum output. I'm sorry about that. It's just logged out and it's going to come back immediately. I'm so eager. This is one topic that touches that I get very passionate about. It suggests it's a lot happening in the social media arena when you have one imam coming to antagonize the other, coming to debunk, coming to, one will come out looking for each other's trouble and thus neglecting the primary purpose, of the mission that they need to, that Allah has saddled them with. I think with lectures like this, it would serve as an eye opener for us to beat a retreat. It's been happening for over a year now, and it looks like there's no end to it. So we need messages like this to go out there, especially back home in Nigeria. Is quite disgusting. It's very at the very least, it's quite it's quite disturbing. It's quite disturbing. We need to do something about it quite urgently. So you can come in, try and log on again, Doctor. I think this is it's always around his house. This is always happening. Yeah. Let's see. If you mute yourself, sir. Now.
Can you hear me now?
I think we just have to make do with this. It's not the best, but then this is 100 that I have here, on my device. But continue, maybe it will improve. Have you checked your volume button?
Yeah, that check is on.
Oh, it's great. You have come back like it is.
Yes.
This is it. Like Ramadan suggested, move close to your device.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, please move close to it. It was better a second ago.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, please. Exactly.
Please, can you
yes.
hear me?
Yes,
Can you hear
it's
me now?
great. Exactly. 100%.
Okay, thank you very much. Alhamdulillah. نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره
Now,
ونؤمن به نتوكل عليه.
can we have the face as well? Let's see whether it will work.
Okay.
If you do the video icon as well. If it doesn't get well with yeah.
I've tried the video icon.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's just next. You are used to this thing. It's the next one to the microphone.
Okay, don't worry. Let me start. Can you hear me well?
Very loud and clear now. Loud and clear now. Yeah.
Let me start, and so
that's
that
fine.
To save time.
That's fine.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وأنفعنا بما أملتنا وزدنا علما اهدنا صراط المستقيم اهدنا صراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم من النبيين والصديقين والشهداء والصالحين وحسن أولئك رفيقا اللهم صل على عبدك ورسولك محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Once again, I want to thank everybody on the platform. Let me express my personal appreciation to the You Believe under the leadership of our Professor Masood Adebayo Badiri. It has been a wonderful effort, and I pray that Almighty Allah will reward everybody that is participating in this wonderful effort, inshallah. Now, as you know, I want to recall that just a short while ago, I was watching some of the social media platform. So, as usual, you see a lot of scholars and their students engaging in argument, one argument or the other. So, it has been usual thing. But when I was asked to talk on this platform again, I thought, well, it is better that we try to look at the issue of disagreement among the scholars. I'm also trying to see if I can share my my screen, but I don't know. The technology is just
you should be able to. Are you on a computer, on a laptop?
Yes. No, I'm on PC.
So if you just go on the share button, if you have your slides open already on your laptop.
Yes, it's open on the laptop.
Yeah, so if you go at the below buttons on your screen on Zoom, you will see the share icon. It's that green box with a black arrow pointing up.
You mean down
down at the bottom of your screen as you are looking at your screen, your
okay.
Zoom screen. So if you look at the bottom bit, you will see a square image icon in green, and there is black arrow in between it.
Okay.
Can you see that, sir?
Yeah.
Or better still, if you can send me your slides, I can help
okay.
share.
Oh yeah, okay. yeah. That's better. That's better, okay. Ramadan. That's better. That's more like it.
Inshallah, let me, in order to save time, let me just continue.
Yeah.
I will try as much as possible to make the points very clear to everybody, inshallah. So I started by saying اختلافات العلمية وأثرها على وحدة المسلمين. That is scholarly disagreement and its impact on Muslim unity. Basically, the hallmark of Islam is unity. The differences of opinion, interestingly, is ikhtilaf among Muslim scholars are also hallmark of Islamic intellectual history. In other words, it has made the culture, it has made the value of Islamic scholarship as far back as the period of Khulafa al-Rashidin. May Allah be pleased with them. So, and since then, that two cultures are there for Islam. The culture of unity and the culture of ikhtilaf among the scholars. So, but the combined effect of those is a pointer to the fact that it is unity in diversity. So now I then talk about introduction. Introduction is when we talk about Islamic history, it's a kind of discipline that demonstrates a long-standing tradition of scholarly disagreement, particularly in three key areas. Number one, jurisprudence, which is known as fiqh, and then theology, this is kalam, and then Quranic exegesis, that is tafsir. So when we talk about disagreement among the scholars, let us look at these three key areas. There are other areas, so like the Sirah and other areas of Islamic knowledge. But these particular three areas are the key areas where you have the issue of disagreement among the Muslim scholars. So then let's now make a propositions. So in the light of what I've said about unity in Islam and ikhtilaf as the part of issue of Islamic scholarship, then we can propose that the apparent tension between unity and disagreement raises important questions, including one, are differences of opinion inherently harmful? How the classical scholars understand and manage disagreement? And number three, why do such differences today often result in fragmentation and conflict? Then, let's look at this proposition on this theory of validity of the propositions. Differences among Muslim scholars are inevitable, and when properly regulated and managed, are beneficial. So the real challenge lies not in the existence of ikhtilaf, but in the failure to observe its ethical, methodological, and spiritual boundaries. In other words, it is normal that in any other system, people disagree. Even within the family setup, community setup, people disagree on issues, either religious issue, mundane issue, whatever issues. That is how Allah created us. So, but it is only when these disagreements are not properly managed that is where the problem begins. So now let us look at what the definition and scope of ikhtilaf, that is disagreement. Ikhtilaf refers to divergence in view, conclusion, or interpretation derived from legitimate reasoning. Classical scholars distinguish between ikhtilaf tanawwu, that is ikhtilaf diversity of variation. So when you have multiple valid ways of practicing or interpreting a matter, so you have different, you have a number of ways that all of them are correct. So the people do it the way they make a choice. So that essentially they are rooted in authentic sources of Islamic law, the Quran and the Sunnah. So the number two, ikhtilaf tadadi, that is ikhtilaf that is contradictory. So when ikhtilaf contradict each other, so it's a kind of where only one can be correct. often arising from defining assessment of evidence. So when people take look at a particular evidence of a particular issue, so there is a probability of arriving at conflicting ikhtilaf. So importantly, ikhtilaf differ from khilaf. Khilaf means differences that are driven by ego, partisanship, innovation without evidence. So you can see from this play of grammatical text. So when you say ikhtilaf is ikhtalava, then khilaf is khalafa. So that one is about scholarship differences. The other one is there are many meanings of khalafa. So maybe deputize, and again you disagree with a kind of ego, or based on a partisanship, or a kind of innovation that is not that cannot be supported by evidence. So then, what are the proof of ikhtilaf in the Quran and Sunnah? So as I've said, it is normal, like in any other human affairs, that people disagree. So let us look at Quran chapter 11, verse 118. So where Allah say, "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Wallahu sha'a rabbuka laja'ala an-nasa ummatan wahidatan wa la yazaluna mukhtalifin." Which means, and if your Lord had willed, he could have made mankind one community, but they will not cease to differ. So there are many other excerpts of the Holy Quran, but I may not be able to cite all of them, but suffice to stop on this particular one. Then let us look at the side of Sunnah. We have to remember that the Quran and Sunnah are the primary source of Islamic law. So Sunnah, we recall that after the battle of Al-Ahzab, that is the battle of Trench, the Prophet of Allah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam ordered the companion to march immediately to Banu Qurayza, who had violated their treaty with the Muslims. But the Prophet specifically instructed the group that were sent on this mission, and he said, "La yusalliyanna ahadun al-asra illa fi Banu Qurayza," meaning that none of you should pray as except at Banu Qurayza. In other words, he sent them on that mission, but he told them that they should not observe Salatul Asr until they get to the community of Banu Qurayza. But as they were going, it was time for Asr prayer, and some of them, and they have not got to the destinations. Some of these members of the group decided to observe Asr, while the other group said no. The instruction was that we should not observe Salatul Asr until we get to Banu Qurayza. So it raised argument between the two of them. When eventually they completed the mission, they went back to Medina, and then they brought the issue to the attention of the Prophet. And then the Prophet told them, two of you are correct. So while one is one hit the point or the head, the other one are also correct. So, and he said, for the first one, lakum ajru maratain, you earn 2 rewards for doing ijtihad and you get it right. And for the other one that please ijtihad, and they are also right. So you can see that from this example, the issue of ikhtilaf has started even right from the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So now let us ask the question: what are the causes of difference among the Muslim scholars? As I said, when you talk about differences among the Muslim scholars, we have to look at number one, jurisprudence, that is fiqh, that is Islamic fiqh, and then the kalam, that is theology, and then the tafsir. Now, in looking at all these 3 segments of the Islamic knowledge, what are the causes? Number one, linguistic and textual factors. So, linguistic and textual factors. Arabic language features such as polysemies, metaphor, general and specific expressions, and grammatical ambiguity naturally allow for multiple interpretation of the same text. So when they look at a particular text, so it carries a number of meaning. So each we stand on a particular meaning of a particular word, and then they use that to interpret a particular ayah, and they arrive at the conclusion that this is my positions. Then second one is methodological differences. So the growth of data schools, the madahib, reflect the founding principle of legal theory, that is usul al-fiqh, including weight given to solitary report, khabarul wahid, and then use of analogy, that is qiyas, juristic preferences, istisar, and public interests, that is maslaha. So, and then some of them accept the local practice, that is uruf, particularly Imam Malik, that we see that anything that is done, he has to conform with uruf of Al Medina. Anything that people do outside the Medina, so it has to be subjected to what is popular and accepted as uruf in Medina. That's the position of Imam Malik. Then the third one is contextual and historical factors. Scholars operated in diverse socio-political and cultural environment. Their legal reasoning often responded to specific reality, producing divergent yet contextually sound rulings. Let us look at it in modern time. So we have some communities that are purely and almost 100% Muslims. They never see Elegungun, they never see Olosa, they never see Christianity, they never see anything different from Islam. So the way they interpret Ayah Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet may be slightly different from the way a scholar who is in the midst of all this group that has to deal with a lot of issues that are coming from all this group. So, and then is managing a community that interacting with all this group. So sometimes the interpretation of a particular text may be a bit aligned towards something that is convenient for the people in that community, particularly for the Muslim in that community. Then number 4 is differences in access to evidence. Not all scholars had access to the same hadith collection or transmitted report, leading to sincere differences in conclusion. Some hadiths are accessible to some people. Even let us look at this in the present time. If you look at what is going on in our community, particularly in southwest of Nigeria. So you have different scholars. Some of our brothers who are trained in abroad, they came back with load of materials. So they have access to materials where those people who are traditionally based in Nigeria, in their respective community, they may not have access to this material. So when this is cited, so some of these may sound strange to them. So what do they do? So this will lead to a kind of difference. And that is why you see the fight, the argument, whether this is da'if, or this is authentic, or this is mawdu', all this argument. So it depends on how individual have access to material. So now the question is, how legitimate so are the issue of scholarly disagreement? So it is a kind of legitimacy issue. So classical Muslim scholarship likely view legitimate disagreement as a mercy rather than a calamity. So they normally quote a particular statement where it is said, "Ikhtilaf ummati rahmati rahmat." Some sources argue that it is a statement coming from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, while the other view said no, it is not. But the meaning of that particular statement has less support to the reality of ikhtilaf. So because its meaning is supported by scholarly practice and historical experiences. So therefore, despite the problem of ikhtilaf, that is disagreement, there are a number of benefits. Number 1, intellectual dynamism and legal flexibility. So this ikhtilaf allow individual scholars to exercise their knowledge, to search for knowledge. If you look at our community now, you see that before now, many Muslim scholars, they are very relaxed. They hardly work to search for material, for knowledge. they depend on their residual knowledge. But the situation has changed. Anybody who call himself scholar now, if you come out and you say something without checking yourself, without checking your sources, you face a lot of problem because you see barrel of attack from every corner asking you, tell us the authority of what you have said. So the issue of disagreement has led to intellectual dynamism. So anybody who want to talk now, we have to be very, very careful. You have to be very, very sure of what is going to say. And again, it allows legal flexibility. When scholars express view on different, they bring us different view on a particular issue, it gives the believers options to choose which one is convenient for them. So unlike if they are if the view is rigidly on one particular position, so it allow legal flexibility. Then number two, accommodation of diverse circumstances. So it is true ijtihad and ikhtilaf that people have diverse circumstances to choose. For example, if somebody is traveling and then you want to combine salat, so some scholar will say no, you cannot combine salat until you start journey. Some people will say okay, if you foresee that you have not started your salat by salat of dhuhr, and then you project that salat al-asr will catch you up maybe somewhere along the line where you may not be able to observe salat, you can combine them. From some other scholar will say no, that is not acceptable. But both sides will give you reason. They will cite authority to support themselves. It is now left to individual to make a choice. So number three, prevention of rigid literalism. Literalism is interpreting the text of the Quran and the Sunnah with literal meaning without allowing practical interpretation of it. So some scholars will say the position is sami'na wa ata'na. Allah says this. You don't need to find any reason, any other meaning. Just take it like that. But some other scholars will say no. Allah say afala ta'qilun, afala tubsirun. Don't you reason? If Allah says something, it means you have to apply your intelligence to understand Allah's statement. The same thing when the Prophet ﷺ give an instruction. So I want to recall a situation where the Prophet of Allah sent Mu'adh ibn Jabal as the judge in Yemen. So the Prophet was asking him, when you get to the place of your mission, how are you going to judge? He said, I will judge according to the Quran. The Prophet of Allah said, supposing you don't find solution in the Quran, what do you do? He said, I will judge according to your Sunnah. He said, supposing you don't find evidence in my Sunnah, what do you do? You say, I will exercise my intelligence. The Prophet of Allah put his hand on his scarf, that is on his part of the body, and say, oh, thank to Almighty Allah for making my companion to be so intelligent. That is literally meaning of that statement. Now, many leading scholars, including Abu Hanifa, Imam Malik, Imam Shafi, Imam Ahmad bin Hanbali, they clearly acknowledge the possibility of error in their views and discourage blind partisanship. So all these scholars, they argue that if you find my positions that contains error, know that that error is from me, it's not from Allah. So you are free to disagree with me, despite their knowledge, despite what they have done in the course of knowledge of Islam. They still admit that there is possibility of error. So they don't argue that whatever they say is the final. So, and this is a lesson for our modern scholars, that whatever you say, and that is why you see all the scholars of the past, they will say, at the end of the argument, they will say, Allahu Alam, Allah knows the best. So they will never insist that whatever they say is the final. Now, let us now look, what I've done so far is to let us see the extent of theory of ikhtilaf. Now let us look at the issue of ikhtilaf persuade unity of Islam. So what are the effects of ikhtilaf on the unity of Islam? As I said at the beginning, unity is the hallmark of Islam. If you look at everything, the structure of Islam from Kalimatu Shahada to all the 5 pillars of Islam, it is all about unity. So when we say La ilaha illallah, it means anybody who mention that name, that's his statement, is a member of the Commonwealth Nation of Islam. Whatever his background, he may be an American, he may be an African, whatever he comes from. The moment somebody say La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah, that is a statement of unity. And that person is qualified to be a member of Commonwealth Nation of Islam. So, in other words, unity of Islam is not negotiable. But how can we put that unity against the culture of ikhtilaf? Now, number one is when you have sectarianism of madhab. Sectarianism in madhab is not bad. It is only when that madhab is allowed to juxtapose fanaticism. Fanaticism is that this is what my imam said, and I'm not ready to compromise. Even when you have better argument, when you have better proof, you still insist that the position of your imam is what we are going to follow. So when legal or theological school become identity marker rather than methodological framework, this leads to sectarianism, known as the ta'assub. Ta'assub is a kind of fanaticism that whatever my scholar says, nobody can change that statement. So, number two, politicization of religious differences. So political authorities sometimes exploit scholarly disagreement to legitimize power, to marginalize opponents, or define community for their political end. It has happened in the past, and it's happening now. When you see people fighting each other on issue of maybe jurisprudence, so you see that sometimes it has political inclinations. The same thing tafsir. So when people interpret Quran in order to suit the people in power, so this is another factor that militates against unity of Islam. Then number three, decline of adab. Adab, that is the erosion of ethics, of disagreement. Here I want to make a number of observations. So when we say that erosion of ethics of disagreement, so we have to bear in mind our own situation in Nigeria, particularly in the southwest of Nigeria. If you look at what is going on now, you see scholars fighting each other on issues that are purely issue of theology. So it borders on a number of issues. Number one, superiority complex. When some people are claiming that we are superior than to any other people, our place is the source of knowledge in this part of the world. We are the authority of Arabic language. We are the authority of Islamic studies, and nobody can claim that authority except we. There is a saying, they attribute this particular saying to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where it says, "Al-ilmu dawlatul mu'min, fa wajadaha fa huwa biha." Knowledge is a lost legacy of the moment, and wherever he find it, it is his right to take it. So if a son of carpenter or a son of a farmer search for knowledge, work for knowledge, toil for knowledge, and he acquired the knowledge and became an authority, when somebody will query him that, oh, you son of the farmer, you son of Olosa, you want to claim that you know more Islam than us? No, that is not the position of Islam. Because anybody who prove himself according to with knowledge of Quran, with the knowledge of Sunnah, That is what qualifies somebody to be an authority in Islam. It's not a question of my father is an imam, my father is a scholar, our institution is the base of knowledge. No. I want to recall a poem that was attributed to Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, where I say, La takuli azili wa fadili abada innama aslul fata ma qad asal qad yazudu al-marhu min ghairi habi wa bi usnin sabki qad yulqa zagar utlubu al-ilma wa la taksal fama abghad al-khair ala ali al-qasal, which means that do not ever say my lineage, my origin. For the true origin of a man is what he has attained. A person may rise to nobility without a father, and through fine craftsmanship, all impurity is refined away. Seek knowledge and do not be lazy. For how far goodness is from the people of sloths. So we can see from these two examples that nobody can, it's a kind of superiority complex for somebody to say our place is the member of knowledge, the fountain of knowledge. And so anybody who wants to talk must give us obedience, must pay homage to us before he talk about Islam. Islam, the knowledge of Quran is property of everybody who is Muslim, either a man or a woman. If you acquire it and you have it more than other, you are in position to be recognized. So another problem is temperate and undignified languages and expressions. The classical scholars, when they are engaged in looking at issues, at the end of the day, you hear them, Allahu Alam, Allah know best. Then they will, when they talk to their other scholars, they will say, Ayakumullah, may Allah enliven you. Then if there is any disagreement, they will ask Astaghfirullah, may Allah forgive us. They will say, Allah yahdikum, Allah will guide you. All these are the expression of the scholar of the past. But what we have today, you see some scholars, particularly in Yoruba land, imagine the scholar saying, Olodo, Tedewure, Yoruba level, Lema, Aladadale, Islam, Olobeyo. All these lands do not fit the expression of somebody calling himself a scholar. Scholar must talk with dignity. They must respect everybody. Even they must respect non-Muslim, not talk of Muslim or not talk of scholars. So we have gone to the point that some scholars even they are cursing each other. They are cursing each other just because of disagreement on issue of Islam. Then you ask the question, what is the reason? If it is to propagate Islam, why do we curse ourselves? We have got to a point that the non-Muslim now they are now jesting us. They are saying, look at them, and they claim to be the community of unity. Look at them. The social media is now a terrible place where you see scholar, everybody is an authority. Somebody will come out starting talking rubbish in the name of Islam. Then another factor is the problem of holier than thou attitude, self-righteousness. My Islam is better than your Islam. So the Quran says, so do not claim yourself to be pure. He, Allah, knows best who is righteous. So, and then in another verse, Allah says, oh, you believe, let no one people ridicule. That is Quran chapter 49, verse 11. Allah say, let me quickly quote that particular ayah very well. And that is verse 11, where Allah says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, la yasharkum min qawmin asa an yakunu khayran minhum, fala nizahu min nisa'i asa an yakuna khayran minhunna, fala talmisu anfusakum, fala tanabbasu bil alqab, bisa al-ismu fusuqa ba'da al-iman, wa man lam yatub fa ulaika hum zalimun. Allah say, oh, you believe, let not one people laugh at another. People perchance they may be better than they, no, let woman laugh at other women. Perchance they may be better than they, and do not find fault with your own people, nor call one another by nicknames. Evil is a bad name after faith, and whoever does not turn, this is that the unjust. So essentially what that ayah of the Quran is saying is that we should stop calling ourselves names. How a scholar will be calling fellow scholar names. What is all this land? Anybody who say La ilaha illallah, whether he does something against it, as long as you don't see it, leave him, let Allah judge him. Then another problem, arrogance. Arrogance is the sin of Iblis. That is when Allah asked the Iblis to bow down for our father Adam. He said, "Ana khairum minhu, khalaqtani min nar wa khalaqtahu min tin." Allah said, bow down for Adam, because Allah equipped Adam with knowledge, which Shaitan didn't have. Allah commanded him to bow down for him. He said no. So the same thing, the same trait many of our scholars are exhibiting now, which is very unfortunate. So the taqwa, that is God consciousness, is very, very important. So when you call somebody scholars, he must be that he must be a pious man. He must be humble. He must be humble in behavior, in speech, in everything. But when you see some scholar showing arrogance, then you ask the question, where do we find, what is the purpose of knowledge he has? Then another problem is judgmental posture. Some people will sit down in the corner of their room. They will be judging others. They will say, who is he? Whereas there are a number of verses of the Holy Quran where Allah says, final judgment belongs to Allah. For example, in Surah Yusuf, Allah says, Innal hukma illa lillah. Judgment belongs to none but Allah. So when you disagree on issues, why don't we leave the final judgment to Allah? When you want to say no, anybody who doesn't agree with me is condemned to hellfire. Well, Allah has not given anybody certificate to declare somebody member of a person that is going to hellfire. The final judgment belongs to Allah. We can disagree. When we disagree, let the final judgment be left to Allah. It is Allah that we judge. So another problem is lay interpretation and overexposure. We have found ourselves in the era of social media. So people now come across a lot of materials. So materials about Islam, and then you see many people becoming sudden scholars. They copy fatwa and paste. They copy maybe a fatwa that was reached in Egypt or in another environment. They copy that fatwa, they paste it to their immediate environment. It causes problem. So it causes problem, and that is, all these are common. That is what is rampant now in Yoruba land, particularly. Then number 5 is globalization and identity anxiety. In context of political weakness and cultural pressure, Muslims may seek certainty through rigid interpretation, viewing diversity as a threat rather than a strength. Some people want to belong. They want to be seen that I belong to a particular group at the international level. So they are not ready to compromise when it is clear that their position is not right. They want to maintain that positions. So it's a problem of globalization and identity anxiety. So in the light of all this, brothers and sisters in Islam, so we can see that Ikhtilaf challenges unity of Islam in this kind of problem. And unless we try to look at it critically, we may not find solution to the problem that we are very rampant in Yoruba land especially. So Islamic unity does not require uniformity. That is question of unity I'm talking about. Islamic unity does not require uniformity in all opinion. Classical scholars differentiate between unity in fundamental, that is usul, core belief, and essential obligations. So what Allah make compulsory, that is mahkamat, which Allah has decided by himself. They are very, very few. But it left many issues that are diverse for us to interpret. So the diversities in subsidiary matter, that is what we call furu. That is jurisprudential and interpretative differences. Attempting to impose absolute uniformity risk suppressing legitimate ijtihad. In other words, we may not impose uniformity, but we have to allow differences of opinion with mutual respect. That is what I call diversity, unity in diversity. So now, before I conclude, how do we manage differences and preserving unity? Number one, we have to revive adab ikhtilaf. So that is the culture of readiness to disagree and agree, disagree with respect and agree with focus. Education should emphasize ethical disagreement, teaching respect for scholarly authority and restraining judgment. Then clear distinction between fundamental and subsidiaries. The fundamental issue that Allah refers to as mukamat are very, very clear. Nobody can contest La ilaha illallah. Nobody can contest praying 5 times daily. Nobody can contest fasting in the month of Ramadan. It is when we come to details that we find point of disagreement. So disagreement in secondary matters should not be treated as threats to faith or communal belonging. Then certain scholarly institutions. So credible, independent scholarly bodies and contextualize differences and guide public responsibility. So then promoting Maqasid al-Sharia. Maqasid al-Sharia, these are the objective of Sharia. We have to promote unity through this particular principle. Maqasid al-Sharia is to preserve very values, life, faith, lineage, then property, and intellect. So these 5 values must be preserved through the exercise of ijtihad, and through whatever disagreement we have, those 5 values must be guided jealously. Then cultivating intellectual humility, recognizing the limit of human reasoning and the possibility of error, foster tolerance and mutual respect. Brothers and sisters in Islam, before I now conclude, I want something to give every one of us, including myself, as a takeaway. So it was attributed to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu. According to a source, it was argued that it was Abdullah ibn Mas'ud that related this particular statement from the Prophet. So there another source said that it's Abu Darda that related this particular statement from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu. He said, "Kun aliman, aw muta'alliman, aw sa'ilan, fala takun rabiha fatuhlak." There is another version of this particular statement. It means be a scholar. If you cannot be a scholar, be a student. If you cannot be a student, be a questioner. Be somebody that asks questions about your faith. Because what Allah created us to do in this world is to worship Him. We must not take the worship of Allah with levity. We must be serious. We must be serious about our iman, about our Islam. So because of that, we have to belong to any of the 3. I myself that is talking in front of all of you, I humbly belong to the 2nd and 3rd category. I'm a student forever, and I'm a questioner. And I want all of us to be like that. May Allah accept all our acts of ibadah. In conclusion, my brothers and sisters in Islam, differences of opinion among Muslim scholars have been a cherished value of Islamic scholarship. It is an intrinsic and historically validated aspect of Islamic civilization. Far from undermining unity, such differences have enriched Islamic thought and enable it to respond to diverse human realities. The contemporary challenge lies not in disagreement itself, but in its management through fanaticism, politicizations, and ethical decline. Genuine unity in Islam is achieved not by erasing differences, but by regulating them through knowledge, ethics, and shared commitment to the higher purpose of the faith. Embracing principles, diversity, while safeguarding foundational unity remain one of the most urgent tasks facing the Muslim community Ummah today. I pray that Almighty Allah will continue to guide us aright and to remain united as member of most Islamic international Commonwealth nations. I thank you very much, and I pray that Almighty Allah will accept all this as act of ibadah. Wherever I make mistake, that is from me. Whatever I say that is good, I pray that Almighty Allah will reward all of us in all what we have done today. I thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Exactly.
Please, can we unmute? Is that coming from our speaker? That's fine. I must say a very big thank you to you. I must say a very big thank you to our doctor, Dr. Dawood Adeshala Hamza. It's been such a lecture. It's been a time we spent together, and it was so very difficult for me to stop it, but because we have to accommodate questions as an integral part of this program, we've had to exceed the time because of the glitches we had initially when the program was meant to kick off. There's a lot that's been said. You will know a scholar has spoken, a teacher has spoken, an erudite scholar has actually spoken. So there's nothing to add to that. But in terms of if I do a summary of this, it will just be that everybody who is gifted with knowledge, which is this 21st century vocabulary, that you've been gifted with somebody, whoever with something, if you are being gifted with knowledge, first and foremost, you must realize that that's an amana, and whatever is called amana is something that will be asked. And remember, the hadith related by Ibn Mas'ud when he says the foot of the servant of Almighty Allah will not move an inch until he has been asked and he has responded to 5 questions. La tazulu qadama ibn adama yawm al-qiyamah min indi rabbi hatta yusalu ana khamsin an umri fima afnahu wa an shababihi fima ablahu wa malihi min ayna iktasabahu wa fima anfaqtahu wabima anfaqahu wa manza amila fima alima. So the last bit of it is what I am referring to here, that the son of Adam will not be allowed, the feet of the son of Adam shall not move from before his Lord on the day of judgment until he's asked about 5 things: about his life and what he did with it, about his youth and what it out in, about his wealth and how he earned it and what he spent it upon, and what he did with the knowledge that he was endowed with. So that's my summary of everything that's been said in the last 30 minutes. And I like to do this. I think it was Imam Shafi that said it. Permit me if it's attributed to, but I know it's between the 4 scholars for Imams. It says, Ilama kulifu bainakumun alama وهذه ضجة الكبرى alama. What is this difference is about that is tearing this apart? What is it about? Alama. And what is it about? Is it that some people are benefiting or profiting, or reaping pecuniary benefits from all of this? What is it about? Ilama. And for how long is this going to continue? This is my challenge to everybody who is involved in this. The hallmark of unity of Islam is unity. But how do we place that side by side by the diversity that is not any mistake made by Allah, but a conscious design and wiring of human beings? This is how he has wired us, that you will be different from me, I will be different from you. Perspectives, are also a very key, concept when it comes to the way people reason, the way you look at things. What is 6 to some people is 9 to some people, depending on where you are looking at the figure from. So ability to accommodate each other, that it is an amana, what you know, and part of the 5 questions that you will not move until you have asked is what you did with the knowledge that Allah has benefited with you. And all these things that you are being arrogant about, that you are flaunting here and there. Allah has mentioned we've given you of knowledge, but only tiny, infinitesimal, inconsequentially small. That is why everybody, even the most read person, this is what we are sharing. Is that a source of arrogance to anyone? I'll just stop here. While I thank a doctor, I'm very, very sure to go back to all of this. I know it's quite a piece. This is something, it's like a book tonight. It's like a whole book. So how do we, when a doctor has spoken, what is there to add to it? So I can only just ask Almighty Allah to continue to increase you in beneficial knowledge. While I'm asking people, I'd like you to take a sip of water, doctor, in anticipation of questions that would flow in like in torrents, if you like. While I ask others, people to get their questions ready, you can use the react button, that icon there, the lob, you can raise the hand raise button icon to ask your questions, or you can as well just unmute yourself and ask questions. We are going to be taking that for the next five minutes, inshallah. But before we do that, I'd like to invite the what do you call Ramadan. Do we have some interlude there, inshallah? Ramadan.
Choose which space your bricks of barakah will build. Old Kent Road Mosque in the heart of London needs your urgent support. Donate your share now to invest in your akhirah. Rebuild the house of Allah and support our growing community. Phase 1 has been completed and £3 million is needed to complete the next phase. Stack your sadaqah with bricks of barakah. Donate today by visiting launchgood.com/bricks of barakah.
MashaAllah. Thanks a lot, Ramadan. Have you got any questions in there? We should be able to take. Please, I'd like to crave your indulgence that this would the next 10 minutes, inshallah. Let's see how many questions we have there. How many of them can be treated? Do we have any hand raised? Do we have that? Our honorable president, Abdul Jalil Odadejo. But if I give you the first shot, then I will just depend on the control room for more questions, inshallah. Brother Abdul Jalil Oladejo, our honorable president.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, rabbil alameen. Jazakumullah khairan to our guest speaker tonight, Dr. Daud. He has do justice to the topic, the issue of ikhtilaf and how we can understand it best. I just want to take my question from the I think the hadith that I mentioned that we should be a student of knowledge, we should ask questions and all of that. But these days of social media, and then we are on different platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and then you have all of these different scholars coming there with different fatwa of you have to do this, you have to do that, you don't have to do this, you have to do that. How do we manage, that we can go back to the source? Because even though when you're not interested in what they're saying, it just pop up and they just come up with just one theology or the other. So how do we manage this information that we get on this social media? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Doctor.
Now, can you hear me, sir?
Loud and clear, sir.
Alhamdulillah. Well, social media is now a phenomenon in our life. So it has two faces, the positive face and the negative phase. It depends on how we utilize it. Social media can be very good in order to search for materials for knowledge. But while doing this, we have to be very, very careful. So the other level of social media is the artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence has taken us to another level that one has to be very, very careful. Whatever question you ask, all these devices, they give you. So you can search for knowledge through them, but you have to cross-check. That is why I quoted that statement at the last point that kun aliman, be a teacher, or muta'alliman, or a student, or sahilan, or a questioner. So when you get material, when you get an information, and then you feel that that information is valid, don't stop there. Go further to consult the scholars in your environment. We have scholars around. So when you cross-check whatever material you have, recently a brother sent a clip to me. When I watched it, it was very, very disturbing. Imagine where some idiots, I'm very sorry to say that, they are maligning the personality of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And when you look at what their argument, they have no proof of what they are saying. They just copy something and paste what the Orientalists have said many years back. And these Orientalists, they have stopped all this rubbish. So that's those people who don't care, they go to social media, copy this material, paste it. And then when they paste it, they spread it around. Allah says, when somebody brings you an information, try to investigate. But nowadays, people don't do that again. They get information and immediately they start posting it. So when that gentleman approached me, I say, okay, let me give you some materials. Go and read it before we talk. So when I sent some materials to him and he read it, he said, please, brother, I don't need any explanation. I'm clear. That is the problem. So when you get information on social media, please check with other scholars in your environment. Allahu Alam.
Jazakumullah khairan, Dr. Dawood. Control room, Ramadan. Do we have any questions? Any more questions in there?
Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, so there's a question here. 1 minute, please. I just need to bring it up. I had it on my, yeah. The questioner said, what do you say to the point of view by people who pick and argue on religious issues on the basis of the need and responsibility to correct, because there is an hadith that the Prophet said that many Muslims would not fail in big things, but in small things?
Can you repeat that last part of the question?
The person is saying that, what do you say to the point of view of people who pick and argue on religious issues on the basis of the need and responsibility to correct, because there is an hadith that the Prophet said that many Muslims would not fail in big things, but in small things?
Thank you very much. This is the point we are talking about. So I'm hearing this particular hadith now. Let me confess. I'm hearing this particular hadith now for the first time of my life. And that is the problem. You see, we have volume of hadith. And when you are not sure if a particular hadith, don't condemn a hadith. So try and find out. If you find out from different sources, you are not satisfied, go and consult those who know that they know more than you. So this is one of the problems we are facing now. So you have a load of hadiths that you can read. When you do something, somebody will quote an hadith for you. When you do something, somebody will quote that this for you, and you are not qualified to say that this is authentic or otherwise. So when an hadith is quoted to you and you are not sure of it, don't condemn it outright. Go and check. So, but my take on the issue of arguing on religious issues is this: Islam is based on clear text, the Quran and the Sunnah. But the problem is, as I said only because of my presentations, you see, what we call muhkamat, what the principles that Allah has decided are very clear and they are very small in number. For example, what Allah declare haram, they are very small. You can count them. Don't drink, don't take animal that is not properly slaughtered in the name of Allah. Don't take pork. Don't. If you count them, they are very few. The point of the scholar is this: Allah declare very little things haram, and then leave many things halal for you, rahmatan lakum, as a mercy for you. So the moment you start searching, recently I was reading in the platform where they list number of animal that we cannot eat. I stumbled over it, all the animal from the sea. I saw catfish. That catfish is haram. I say, catfish is haram? Well, I don't know the source of these particular categorizations. And that is what we are seeing now. So you see people listing the number of things that are declared haram, whereas what Allah declared haram are very few. So all other things, even those things that Allah declared haram, Allah still give us leverage. For example, if you are a journey and then you don't have anything to eat except a particular food that Allah declared haram, if you know that if you don't take it, you endanger your life, Allah permits you to take it. Even you can still make some provision from it. So that, but the moment you see Allah, you throw that away. But when people start to list a number of things that are very strange, telling me that eating catfish is haram, I don't know the source of that argument. I didn't say it is correct or it is not correct, but I continue to ask people who know more than me. Do you agree with these categorizations? This is what we are going to see continuously. But again, I come to the point, whenever you see something is strange at this or a strange principle, don't keep it to yourself. Because if you keep it to yourself, it will continue ruminating in your mind and then disturbing your iman. So you better find a scholar and ask them for clarification. Allah, may Allah guide us right.
Allah, Imam Dr. Kazim, get them, please.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi, Imam.
First of all, we just need to appreciate our able doctor for this intellectual disposition today. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you abundantly. I really gain a lot from your talk. Just a ta'liq. Everyone knows that in Islam, disagreement is not considered inherently bad. It is often a sign of healthy intellectual life, provided it remains within the ethical bonds of respect and evidence-based arguments. We have about 4 imams, school of thoughts. They disagree on an issue. For example, when we are discussing about the Islamic jurisprudence just 2 weeks ago, we talk about the Zakatul Fitr. We have about 3 of these scholars. They maintain that we cannot use anything apart from these foodstuff. But Imam Hanafi says we can use money equivalent to that foodstuff to pay Zakatul Fitr. So it has been there for a long time. So, but we just need to maintain the decorum of respect and the evidence-based argument in Islam. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to reward you, inshallah, and increase in knowledge and faith. Thanks you for this lecture. Jazakumullah khairan.
I'm so very pleased with myself tonight. The fact that I've witnessed this last 1 hour quality time spent with our Dr. Adeshala Hamza. As a concluding message, because this is about Ikhtilaf, and we are talking about, and one thing that we need to go home tonight with is we need to learn Adabul Ikhtilaf, like he called it, the ethics, manners of, because we cannot do in our day-to-day life, we can't do, but disagree with each other. But let us learn from the adab with which the four scholars, have treated, their disposition towards, differences of opinion. Imagine our first Khalifa, when في أول خلافته, when he first assumed the mantle, Abu Bakr, may Allah be pleased with him. He said, as soon as he mounted the member, part of the first statement he uttered was, if I've done anything of this, just like Dr. Dawood also ended his speech, it's a statement of humility and a statement that Allah recognizes and rewards. He said, Ida ahsantu fattabi'uni. If I've said well, please just follow me and take it that is the truth from Almighty Allah. And if Ida ahsantu fasokihuni, because I'm only a human being. If I make any error, please correct me. Fasokihuni. So this is why we need to, mind our language. Remember, in a Samwa, Walibasora, Walifuwada, Kulu Ulaika Kana, Ani Umasiula. It has no regard to what you know. It does not matter who your father is. It does not matter what you know, and the people who are, who are praising you are making you feel like no one is next to you in terms of knowledge or anything. Just remember that Allah will answer you, will ask you for all those things that He has, given to you. For example, your hearing, your mind, your ears. Allah would ask you regarding them. So mind what to say. Inshallah, today, before I hand over back to our anchor today, I like to say the Oh You Who Believ for today, which is also from what one of the verses that Dr. Dawood had alluded to during his very rich presentation, and that is Surah to Ujurat. I call it the Surah of discipline, of the Surah of ethos, the Surah of ethics. This is where Allah tells us everything that we need to do, especially when on our daily interactions with fellow human beings. Allah is calling us those who have believed. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu la yaskaru qawman min qawmin asa an yakunu khayran minhum wala nisaha min nisahin asa an yakunna khayran minhun wala talmisu anfusakum wala tanabasu bil alqabi bisa li ismu li fusuq ba'da li imani wa man lam yatub fa ulaika humuz zalimun. Look at how beautifully Allah has ended that verse. You may have done it for years. Nobody may have called your attention to it. Now that Dr. Dawood has called your attention to it, if you now continue, it says, if anyone does not repent or change his ways, then such people are indeed the wrongdoers. So that's the end of that verse. But from the very beginning of it, because that's why I've chosen this, even though it's mentioned it in the course of his presentation, Allah says, Oh, you believe, no man should ever scoff at other men. Maybe the latter are better than the former, nor should women ever scoff at other women. Maybe the latter women are better than the former ones, and do not find fault with one another, nor call one another with bad nicknames. Bad is the name of sinfulness after embracing faith. If anyone does not repent, then such people are the wrongdoers. We ask Almighty Allah to make us of those who listen, hear, and heed the words of Almighty Allah and make distance us from Shaitan and his whisperings. Until we meet next week, inshallah, for another interesting, episode. I say salamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wala hand over back to Ramadan, Alhaji Rashida Abdulgani Olawale Hassan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much, taking today's session so well. May Allah reward you abundantly, and may Allah reward our father, our scholar, Dr. Dawood, for that beautiful reminder, as you have stated it. I want to thank you for your support, donations, belief, and words of encouragement and volunteering with Mind UK. There would be an information day to answer all your questions on the Rebuild project. So full details about this shall be provided soon, closer to the time. So do watch out on this space for information, because we want to provide updates on where we are with the project. Donations are being collected towards Ramadan. We've said that earlier on. So if you do want to donate towards the Ramadan committee, please do contact the Imam for details on how to do this. Also, this is to invite you to join the Muslim Association of Nigeria UK. We keep saying this. It's important. Be part of the community, and remember to enroll your children to the markers at Old Kent Road, inshallah. Also, we want to say a big thank you and appreciate you for your Launch Good donations and direct debits towards the Mosque Rebuild project. Remember to appropriately reference your payments. We've been having difficulties with some of those. Please, when you reference this adequately, then the accounting would be better done, inshallah. Now, just before we wrap up, I want to remind you to keep the social media comments coming. We need your feedbacks. We want to do this better. So please go on all our social media platforms, put your messages, comments, suggestions on our Rebuild, on the program itself, and the kind of things you want to be seeing on Who You Who Believ, inshallah. And with that, I also remind you, try to volunteer with the Old Kent Road Mosque. You cannot afford to miss out on this train of volunteering and helping us achieve our goals. So we expect to see you as a volunteer. Contact the secretary, all members of the executive, and let them know in whatever way you are able to support the mosque, inshallah. So with that, we'll come to the end of the session today, and we'll see you next week with another interesting conversation, another erudite scholar or community worker, or anybody that's got something important to say to our community. We welcome them on the Who You Who Believ, and you can recommend people too. So we'll see you next week, and please don't keep malice, don't argue, don't fight. The whole of the conversation today is about maintaining peace and moderation in everything we do. So we'll see you next week, inshallah.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. إنا عرضنا الأمانة على السماوات والأرض والجبال فأبين أن يحملنها وأشفقن منها وحملها الإنسان إنه كان ظلوما